They've hidden this from you not out of cruelty, but out of fear. Because once you understand what Thoth truly meant by reverse law, the control systems lose their grip. The truth is, most of us are chasing reality in the wrong direction. We've been taught that to get something, we must run after it, chase it, strive for it, like it's out there, somewhere. But Thoth turned that idea inside out. He taught that what's truly yours doesn't need to be chased. It needs to be received. And to receive, you must stop reaching. Let's begin with something subtle you may have already felt. Have you ever been searching endlessly for a solution, burning hours, days, even weeks trying to fix something, only to have the answer appear right when you finally gave up? That moment of surrender wasn't failure. It was alignment. It was the silent shift. Thoth called this state conscious surrender. It's not weakness. It's wisdom. It's stepping back and allowing the cosmic intelligence that already surrounds you to take over. And that surrender flips the switch inside you. It moves you from resistance to resonance. You see, effort is often just resistance in disguise. When we try too hard, we cloud the channel through which the universe flows. It's like standing in a river, trying to force the water to move a certain way, not realizing it's your body that's creating the blockage. Imagine you're at a crossroads in life. You've applied to every job, sent countless emails, updated your resume 100 times, and nothing. Then one day you stop. You breathe. You tell yourself, maybe it's time to let go. And within days, someone reaches out. A lead comes in from an old friend. A company you never applied to finds you. That's not a fluke. That's the reverse law. And you didn't make it happen by effort. You made it happen by space. Thoth taught in the halls of Embodying that the universe is a self-correcting mechanism. It doesn't need you to fix life. It just needs you to stop interfering with it. Your obsession with control is the only thing keeping your blessings from landing. Here's the strange part. We live this law backwards every day. Every time you worry, obsess, chase, or cling, you're using the law, but in reverse. Instead of drawing abundance, you're magnetizing scarcity. Instead of inviting solutions, you're signaling chaos. The law is always on. It's your alignment that chooses how it works. Let's look at relationships. Have you ever wanted someone so badly that your energy became desperate, even if you never said a word? That person pulled away, didn't they? And then, when you gave up, walked away, found peace, they returned. Why? Because your desperation created a field of imbalance. But your peace? That was magnetic. Thoth explained that the universe doesn't speak English. It speaks vibration. Your emotions are the language of your field. And fields attract like fields. When you vibrate need, you attract more things to need. But when you vibrate peace, you become the gravitational center around which everything begins to orbit. It's not that you stop taking action. It's that your actions are no longer driven by fear. You're no longer acting to force something to happen. You're acting because you're aligned, available, and in flow. There's a massive difference. This is where many get confused. They think surrender means giving up. But it's not about quitting. It's about cooperating. It's about letting the higher intelligence of the universe do what it does best. Organize reality according to harmony, not urgency. The modern mind resists this. We've been conditioned since birth to hustle, grind, push. We wear exhaustion like a badge of honor. But Thoth said, the one who insists delays. The one who aligns receives. The more you try to control outcomes, the more tangled life becomes. But when you return to stillness, clarity flows in. That's why so many breakthroughs happen when you stop trying. Because effort in the wrong frequency blocks your own signal. The signal of trust, peace, certainty. That's what opens the channel. That's what turns your field into fertile ground. Thoth used the image of a mirror. When the surface of water is disturbed, you see only ripples. But when it becomes still, it reflects the sky. Your life is the same. When your mind is chaotic, the universe cannot reflect your desires clearly. But when you become still, the mirror returns clarity. So, here's the truth you were never told. You don't attract what you chase. You attract what you are. And the you that aligns is the one who knows when to act and when to allow. Let's bring this home with a simple exercise. Right now, close your eyes. Take one deep breath. Picture something you've been chasing: money, love, peace, health. See it clearly. Now, instead of reaching for it, imagine stepping back. Breathe into the space you just created. Say to yourself, I allow this or something better to come to me in perfect timing. Now, feel the shift. Did something release? That's the reverse law already at work. And the more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. Life starts to show up without struggle. Solutions appear before problems grow. Opportunities knock without you hunting them down. Not because you've stopped caring, but because you've started trusting. This isn't spiritual fantasy. It's practical magic. It's quantum. It's hermetic. It's ancient. And it's been hidden from you long enough. Now let's go deeper. Because if surrender begins the flow, what completes it? What's the hidden trigger that turns your release into real-world manifestation? That's where we enter the paradox that makes this law truly dangerous. The paradox that flips your whole understanding of creation. Here's where it all starts to bend: logic, effort, belief. Thoth's reverse law isn't just a clever insight or mystical riddle. It's the universe's operating system hidden in plain sight. And at the heart of it lies a truth that sounds impossible until you live it. The moment you let go is the moment everything begins to arrive. This is the sacred paradox. It's why desire only manifests after detachment. It's why the thing you want most starts running toward you once you stop needing it. It's not that the universe is playing games. It's that your frequency changes the moment you release resistance. And that shift makes all the difference. Think about this. Have you ever tried to find your keys, turning the whole house upside down, only to discover them sitting in plain view once you finally gave up? The moment you stopped frantically searching, your awareness changed. Your inner energy softened, and the keys were always there. You just couldn't see them through the lens of your panic. Now scale that up to your entire life. When you hold tight, clenching with worry, grasping at outcomes, you send a signal of scarcity. You say, I don't trust this will happen, so I have to force it. But when you let go, you declare, it's already mine. I don't need to prove it. And that's when the invisible doors swing open. This isn't about pretending. This is about alignment. True letting go doesn't mean abandoning your dreams. It means releasing the urgency attached to them. It's allowing the desire to exist in peace instead of panic. And that peace changes everything. In the Hermetic teachings, Thoth described a state called silent certainty, a vibration that doesn't beg, doesn't rush, doesn't obsess. It simply knows. And in that knowing, reality has no choice but to reflect what you feel inside. Let's make this real. Imagine someone deeply longing for love. They go on every dating app, attend events, watch videos on manifesting the one. Their energy is all wrapped up in need. Even if they're using the right words or intentions, underneath it all is a vibration that says, I'm alone, and that signal echoes through the universe. But one day they stop. They don't stop wanting love, but they stop needing it. They find peace in solitude, joy in their own company. Their frequency rises from desperation to wholeness. And suddenly, out of nowhere, they meet someone, not because they finally tried hard enough, but because they finally aligned. This is the paradox. When you no longer need it, it comes. It's important to understand what letting go really means. It's not throwing away your desires. It's setting them free from the prison of control. When you cling too tightly, your desire becomes a source of suffering. But when you hold it with open hands, it becomes a source of power. Thoth taught that the field responds not to what you ask for, but to what you expect without fear. That expectation isn't arrogance. It's quiet alignment. It's saying, I know this is on its way because I already feel the peace of its presence. Let's talk about timing, because here's where most people stumble. We want what we want now. But timing is a reflection of alignment, not effort. The seed doesn't bloom faster because you scream at the soil. The flower arrives because it's time. But you choose how fast that timing moves based on the space you create inside. Thoth used to say, the wind cannot carry the message when the air is full of noise. If your mind is cluttered with doubt, if your heart is heavy with urgency, the universe waits. Not as punishment, but because your field isn't ready to receive. But when your signal clears, when peace takes the place of panic, everything accelerates. You may have noticed this already. Maybe you were stuck financially, trying every strategy, reading all the books. Then one day, burned out, you decided to rest, to stop forcing it. And within weeks, a new idea came, or an unexpected opportunity opened up. It wasn't that you stopped trying. It's that you finally stopped resisting. Let's pause here for a moment. This isn't about laziness or giving up. Thoth never said to sit around waiting for miracles. He said to act without attachment, to move from a place of wholeness, not from lack. Think of it like this: a magnet doesn't chase metal. It pulls it in effortlessly, not because it tries, but because of its nature. And you, aligned with the reverse law, become that magnet. Your peace is the pull. Your trust is the force. Your surrender is the signal. There's a reason ancient initiates called this law dangerous, because it destroys the illusion that you have to fight for what's already yours. It dismantles the idea that you need to prove yourself to deserve. It puts power back in your hands, but only if you're willing to release the illusion of control. Let's revisit a powerful metaphor Thoth used: the candle in the dark. The candle doesn't scream at the darkness. It doesn't run around trying to force the light. It simply shines, quietly, confidently. That's what the sacred paradox teaches. You don't need to wrestle life into submission. You need to align, shine, and allow. Now, here's a practice to embody this. Choose one thing you're deeply attached to right now. A goal, a relationship, a financial breakthrough. Sit with it. Feel the tension in your body when you think about it. That's the resistance. Now, ask yourself, what would it feel like to already have it? Not in fantasy, but in emotional truth. Feel that feeling for a few minutes. Then release it. Say, I allow this to unfold in perfect timing. I trust the invisible to organize this better than I ever could. This is the emotional sweet spot where creation happens. It's not in the asking, it's in the allowing. And here's the twist. This doesn't just apply to one goal or one moment. The reverse law becomes infinitely more powerful when you make it a lifestyle. When trust becomes your baseline. When peace becomes your home. When you no longer look for signs because you've become the sign. That's when manifestation stops being an event and becomes your natural state. Thoth said that true mastery isn't about control. It's about coherence. When your inner world becomes still, the outer world reflects that stability. But the biggest barrier to this coherence is your subconscious mind. Because even if you say the right things, repeat affirmations, visualize every day, if underneath it all, you're vibrating fear or lack, your signal is jammed. You're sending out a mixed frequency. And that's what we're going to uncover next. Because to truly live the reverse law, your desire has to be planted in clean, fertile soil. And most people, without knowing it, are planting their seeds in poison. We're about to explore how your subconscious field shapes your reality far more than your conscious intentions, and why that invisible soil must be purified before the harvest can begin. Now we enter the heart of the hidden mystery, the seed. Thoth spoke often about this moment, calling it sacred, delicate, and the true beginning of creation. But unlike what we've been told, the beginning isn't when you take action or make a plan. It's when you feel something as real for the first time. That is the vibrational seed. And what's shocking is most people are sowing this seed in contaminated soil. Let's break it down. Every time you think of something you want, a dream, a goal, a new reality, you send out a signal. But it's not your thoughts that hold the power. It's the emotional energy beneath them. The feeling you carry in the exact moment you set that desire into motion is what defines what grows from it. Thoth warned that most people are unaware of this invisible moment of creation. They're planting desires laced with fear. They say, I want abundance, but feel panic about money. They ask for love, but feel alone and desperate. They try to manifest peace while vibrating anxiety. And here's the key. The subconscious doesn't listen to your words. It listens to your frequency. You may be familiar with the modern term subconscious, but Thoth referred to it as the sacred field the silent space between the visible and invisible worlds. What you plant there takes root, regardless of what your conscious mind believes. This is why affirmations alone don't work. You can't mask fear with pretty words. The soil absorbs the energy, not the language. Think of it like this. If you plant a seed in toxic soil, even the best seed will struggle to sprout. But if you plant it in clean, nutrient-rich earth, growth is inevitable. The vibrational soil of your mind works the same way. And the most critical factor is your emotional purity at the moment of planting. So how do you purify that soil? Thoth taught that true creation doesn't begin in mental chaos. It starts in stillness. This is why rituals in ancient Egypt were performed at dawn, or during the transitions between wakefulness and sleep. Not out of superstition, but because in those moments, the rational mind is soft and the subconscious is open. You don't need candles, chants, or exotic tools. You just need inner calm. When your mind is still, your heart is quiet, and your desire arises not from need, but from wholeness. That's when the vibrational seed is planted cleanly. Let's make this real. Imagine you're setting an intention for financial freedom, but instead of declaring it while checking your bank account with a racing heart, you wait. You create a pocket of silence in your day, maybe early morning before the world wakes. You breathe, you slow your thoughts, and when your nervous system is relaxed, you feel the emotion of already being supported, already being free. Then from that space, you speak, not to beg the universe, but to acknowledge what's already unfolding. You say, "Thank you. I trust. I receive." That seed, planted in peace, is radically more powerful than 1,000 anxious affirmations. This is the art of emotional resonance. Thoth described the subconscious not as a machine to command, but as a living field, receptive, fertile, obedient to vibration. And what's most important to remember is this: whatever emotional state you're in when you plant the desire, that's what the field multiplies. If you plant in fear, it multiplies fear. If you plant in doubt, it multiplies delay. But if you plant in trust, even the smallest seed begins to grow with astonishing speed. This is why so many people say, "But I've been manifesting, I've been visualizing. Why isn't it working?" Because they're trying to grow certainty from a seed of lack. They're looking at the outer world and reacting emotionally, then trying to force a new reality without changing the soil beneath. So here's the secret shift. Stop reacting to what you see and start creating from what you want to feel. This is where you move from manifesting with effort to manifesting with essence. Let's go even deeper. There's a moment when even visualization becomes unnecessary. A level of stillness so deep that intention doesn't need to be repeated. It simply is. Thoth called this the stage of silent knowing. It's when the field is so aligned with your inner peace that it responds instantly. You don't need to shout your desires to the universe. You become the vibration that attracts them naturally. At this level, creation becomes a side effect of who you are. You no longer visualize wealth. You feel wealth in your body before it arrives. You no longer seek love. You walk in love's frequency so deeply that it surrounds you. You don't beg for healing. You live in the vibration of wellness, and the body responds. And this state is available to you. Not someday. Now, let's do another practice right here, right now. Take a desire that matters to you. Close your eyes. Let go of the outcome just for a moment. Tune into the emotion behind that desire. Not the desperation, but the essence. What would it feel like if it had already happened? Safety? Joy? Expansion? Breathe that feeling in. Don't try to force it. Let it rise naturally. Hold it gently for a few moments, and then release it into the silent field. No need to repeat. No need to check on it. The seed has been planted. From this point on, your job isn't to control. It's to protect, because the most delicate part of this process comes next. The stage Thoth called the protective silence, where the farmer steps back and watches over the soil without disturbing it. This is where most people destroy their manifestations without knowing it. They obsessively check for signs. They doubt. They interfere. They dig up the soil to see if the roots are growing. But creation doesn't like being watched. The invisible doesn't respond to anxiety. It responds to certainty. So how do you protect the field? First, by guarding your mind. Step away from conversations, news, people, and environments that fuel doubt. Create a sacred bubble where your new vibration can breathe without being polluted. Second, by feeding trust. Revisit memories of miracles in your life. Times things worked out against the odds. Let those stories build your inner faith. Read words that elevate you. Listen to voices that expand you. Return to your calm center daily, even for a few minutes. And most importantly, release the timeline. Trust that what you've planted is growing, even if nothing appears on the surface. A seed doesn't sprout the moment you bury it. The roots form first, and those roots are forming right now. So let this become your new pattern. Feel, plant, protect, allow. When you understand this, you no longer chase. You no longer perform. You no longer beg. You live in alignment with the most powerful law the universe has to offer, the law that says, when you let go, all things are drawn to you. And now, we prepare to move into the final phase. Because living this law isn't about occasional effort or weekend rituals. It's about embodying a frequency, making it your home, your habit, your new normal. So how do you bring the reverse law into everyday life? How do you walk this truth, not just speak it? How do you become unshakable so that no matter what chaos surrounds you, your center remains magnetic? This is where it all becomes real, not as a concept, not as a technique, but as a way of being, because Thoth never intended for the reverse law to be something you visit like a temple. He taught that true power comes when you live there, when alignment becomes your default, your anchor, your lifestyle. So let's begin with a simple but radical truth. Your life reorganizes itself around your dominant vibration. That means your results, your relationships, your opportunities, all of them are echoing who you are being, not what you're doing. And the difference between people who get stuck in cycles of lack versus those who seem to attract with ease is not luck or talent. It's alignment. Now, let's make that practical. You wake up in the morning. What's your first thought? Is it a rush of anxiety, a checklist of pressures, a subconscious grasp for control? If so, you've already begun your day out of sync. But what if, instead, your first action is to return to your silent center? What if your first breath is an act of alignment? You'd be amazed how the energy of your entire day shifts with that single habit. Thoth said, the aligned one does not chase the river. He becomes the current. Living the reverse law means you move with flow, not against it. That doesn't mean passivity. It means responsive stillness. You take action, yes, but only from peace. Let's go deeper. You're at work. A decision needs to be made. You feel pressure, fear of messing up, the desire to control the outcome. In that moment, you pause. You remember, effort made in fear bears the fruit of fear. So you realign. You breathe. You reconnect to your inner knowing. And from that space, you act, not to fix something, but to reveal what is already aligned. This is the shift from force to frequency. And once you begin to live this way, people will notice. They won't know what changed, but they'll feel it. Your presence will become calmer, your timing sharper, your energy magnetic. Why? Because alignment makes you a mirror. And in that mirror, others see clarity. Now let's talk about something critical, detachment without disconnection. A big fear people have is, if I let go, what if nothing happens? What if I lose everything? That fear is exactly what blocks the flow. Letting go is not cutting off your desire. It's freeing it. It's saying, I am no longer enslaved by this outcome. I am whole now. And paradoxically, from that space of inner freedom, life responds more generously. Think of a garden. A gardener doesn't yell at the soil. He plants, waters, and waits. He trusts the process. That's what you must become, the quiet keeper of your field. You don't obsess. You nurture. That's the lifestyle of alignment. But here's the deepest level, silent certainty. This is when you no longer need techniques because your entire being has become the technique. You're not doing rituals. You're the ritual. You don't visualize success. You walk in the feeling of it. You're not looking for signs. you've become the sign. It's not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about knowing that no matter what the outer world shows you, your vibration is already building the next reality. That knowing, that grounded peace, is what Thoth called the inner throne. And once you sit there, nothing outside of you can dethrone you. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who had spent years battling his finances. He tried every strategy, hustling, investing, selling, always with stress behind it. He studied manifestation, repeated affirmations, followed every guru. But his life didn't change until one day he broke. He sat in silence and whispered, "I surrender," not in defeat, but in trust. That was the first moment he truly let go. Within a month, a new opportunity came, not from his effort, but through a casual conversation that led to a job doing what he loved, with more money than he'd ever earned. It wasn't magic. It was resonance. The universe wasn't holding out on him. It was simply waiting for his field to match what he'd been asking for all along. And then there was a woman. She was tired of love that never lasted. Every relationship left her feeling smaller, more disconnected. She stopped chasing. She turned inward. She cultivated peace in her own presence. She stopped searching and began radiating. And then someone entered her life, not as a savior, but as a reflection. That love didn't fill a void. It met a fullness. These aren't fairy tales. These are the laws of vibration in action. So ask yourself, what am I practicing daily? Anxiety or alignment? Chasing or allowing? Control or trust? Because your daily emotional tone is the soil of your life. Here's a practice to make the reverse law your lifestyle. Morning alignment. Before touching your phone, place one hand on your heart. Take 3 breaths. Feel gratitude, not for what's coming, but for what already is. Say silently, "I allow today to unfold in harmony." Midday reset. When stress hits, don't react. Pause. Breathe. Ask, am I acting from fear or alignment? Realign before moving forward. Evening surrender. At night, before sleep, review the day with compassion, not judgment. Celebrate your moments of trust. Release the rest. Whisper, all is well, all is unfolding. And when doubt creeps in, and it will, remember this. You don't have to believe the doubt. You don't have to feed the fear. You just have to return. Return to stillness. Return to silence. Return to trust. That's where the law lives. As Thoth said, the storm does not disturb the one rooted in the unseen. When you live in alignment, the outer world may shift, people may change, conditions may test you, but your inner throne remains untouched. And from that throne, you create. You no longer strive to manifest. You become a living field of manifestation. You don't try to attract. You are the attraction. You don't fight for your future. You meet it in peace. And in that lifestyle of alignment, you become unstoppable, not because you overpower life, but because you move with it. So here's your final key. Make trust your habit. Make silence your power. Make peace your home. Then watch. Everything you once chased will start chasing you. Everything you were afraid to lose will return stronger. Everything that felt impossible will begin to arrive effortlessly. Because now, you're not just using the reverse law, you're living it. If you've made it this far, you're not the same person who started this video. Something in you has already shifted. You've remembered something ancient, something deep, something unspoken but always known. You were never meant to chase. You were meant to allow. Thoth's most dangerous secret is not dangerous because it harms. It's dangerous because it frees. It unplugs you from the matrix of constant effort, endless striving, fear-based survival, and reconnects you to the divine rhythm that's always been guiding your life. Quietly, invisibly, patiently. Now, the next step is yours. You can return to the noise, to the control, to the anxiety. Or you can begin today as a new being, one who lives from alignment, breathes with trust, acts from peace, and lets the universe meet you halfway. Let the law work for you, not against you. Let your desires be planted in stillness. Let your life become the fertile ground for miracles. And when you forget, because you will, return to silence. not to escape reality, but to realign with the one truth that never changes. You're already whole. Now, if this message spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it. Let it ripple out into the world. There are millions still chasing, still hurting, still lost. Maybe your voice, your story, your transformation becomes the light they needed. Tell me in the comments, what part of this truth woke something up in you? And before you go, there's a hand-picked video waiting for you right here. Click on it. Let's keep walking this path together, toward effortlessness, toward truth, toward home.